nature. It can be a brutal place sometimes, and here on this nature reserve I've found this shady spot next to where this tree has been felled. But just because the tree maybe no longer is enjoying its best life, that doesn't mean that there isn't some life that we can capture with our phone. I've come down to the level of where this slab of tree trunk is, and well, sitting is the best thing. So a reminder, always bring a tea towel on shoots like this. It helps you to get down low and meet your subject where it's at. And I noticed a particular couple of things compositionally here is that I can see the rings that have been chopped, that are visible by the chopping of this tree trunk. And those rings on a tree trunk tell the story of its longevity, the life that it's had before. But also, as if by chance, there's a leaf that's fallen on top. Not going to mess around with it, but that kind of speaks of new life to me. And then I've got some growth, these nettles in the background growing up through these tree trunks. And I think kind of compositionally, they tell a really nice story. And if I frame up maybe at a bit of an angle, I can get both of them in the foreground and the background. What I really like is the fact that beneath this tree, the sunlight is shining through and it's kind of creating these shadows, this dappled effect, but these shadows of leaves on here, almost the shadows of what this tree once was before it was felled or fell down of its own accord and was chopped up. So I'm just going to, with my 2x lens, create a composition with what's here, and I'm just skimming the top of this trunk, and there's a leaf that's happily fallen in the foreground that reflects in a way the dappled, mottled shadows of the leaves above it. And then there's a bit of a stinging nettle in the background there as well. I think compositionally the brown or the orange and the greens create a very pleasing contrasting colours or complementary colours. And I can focus on the foreground. I can focus on that background as well. What happens when I go in for my 1x lens here? Sounds like some more trees are being cut down at the moment. So sort of straight up is fine, but actually I think it's more interesting when I come lower down and go on a bit of a quirky angle. This is still a vertical 9x16 if you like, or 4x5 photo, but just kind of giving it a bit of a jaunty angle gives it some energy. The final thing I'm going to try, oh no, the wide angle here doesn't really give me very much. I don't really know what I'm looking at. I think really by focusing in, that's when the interesting stuff starts to happen. Just waiting for the right bit of sunlight, focusing on that foreground, and compositionally making sure that both the foreground and the background elements match, I think is a winning combination for the shot. When you're shooting up close, particularly using something like a 2x lens on a smartphone camera, you have a choice about where your point of focus is. And here, looking across this cross-section of a tree trunk, the leaf in the foreground is my focus. And that means that as we get progressively further away in the frame to the nettle in the background, everything falls off out of focus. And I like it a lot. I can see some wonderful details on the leaf here. I can see some of the lines, the rings in the tree trunk too. So from a composition point of view, it's very pleasing. It feels a bit flat though, is my main criticism. From a colour point of view, everything's very close, everything's very safe. There's not really very much drama in there. So I certainly think that's something that I'd look to improve upon. You want drama? Well, I'll give you drama. The sun came out right on cue here, and look at the look at the shapes it's painted onto this tree trunk. The shadows of the leaves from the tree cover above poetically are telling a story of this tree's past in some way. Now, the other thing that's changed here, which is my fault, well, it was a deliberate experiment, is my point of focus. I chose to focus on the greenery, the nettle at the back of the frame, which means that the leaf on the front is out of focus. And actually, I don't think that works. I want to see the detail here. It's where my eye naturally falls, and I find it a bit dissatisfying that the thing that's so far away in frame I can't quite see it is what's in focus. So close, but not quite. And here is where it all comes together. I've got the quirky angle that creates this sense of energy with the leaf, which now in the foreground is in focus, and the tip of it just points my eye further into the frame to this greenery, the nettle, some way off in the distance. But more than the composition element here is the energy, the dynamism, the colour, creating a sense of life, sense of something that isn't flat. I really like how all of these different elements have come together from a compositional, colour, and also from a kind of poetry, storytelling point of view into this one frame.